I was teasing you about roadside.
Yeah.
We couldn't stand here about 12 years ago. It did so look like a prison. You like it there?
I don't know to you then about like I could
Oh, excuse me, do it. I'm Oh. Well, maybe you can see them. But you know, she don't want to stay close to home. She wants me to drive there and go out with some kids.
And the campus is so nice.
Yeah.
Yes, we've done that. I've done
You're born and raised south. You will be the only student that do if you graduate. That's okay.
We'll see. I don't know. How much?
Are you a senior? Are you a senior?
No.
Oh, you kids are so much smarter than we were.
Is this more something? Social studies and science. They have opportunities that they can get involved in. You know, we don't have all that.
See, you talk to
Career center.
everything was rural in those days. I think they often kids from the surrounding county. I know you want to be a place. The young guy from Cairo, Georgia,
and Riverside.
If you like the word wrestling,
I think Kate is more into because she gets all the research. Some simulation. It gives them a chance to see just make it more efficient because they know all those like you do video But the girl's testing, so where she's on the rest is
Never had enough time to get on. Then I went to West Point because they have some questions. And then they had all the military stuff on top of it. They had little flashlights that were supposed to be lights. They could stay away. My son-in-law
Good evening. Can everyone hear me? I think the mic helps. Okay, great. So thank you all so much for being here tonight. Welcome to MedEx Academy. If I wasn't able to welcome you as you were walking in, welcome. My name is Sarah Knowles. I am the coordinator for MedEx. And like I said, I am so thankful and excited that you all are here tonight. A, because you decided to spend 4 weeks of your summer with us in MedEx Tier 1, and B, because you committed to being here with us tonight. So this is super exciting for us because this is the first time that all of you are in this space together with us. This is a huge milestone for us as we get more and more excited for this upcoming summer. First and foremost, congratulations. You're awesome. We're so excited. We truly, we spend a lot of hours on our application process and waiting for you to get here, and we are so overwhelmed just with joy that you are here and that this process is starting for you. And before we get started with a lot of our clearance requirements that we're going to go through tonight to ensure that all of you are ready for your first day at MedEx. And then we're going to discuss what happens after that first day when you arrive. But first, I want to walk you through some of these statistics very quickly. So as you look at this top number, this is the number of high school applications that we received for Greenville MedEx Tier 1 during this application season. And of those 158 applications, we interviewed 150 students. And you were one of them. And out of those 150 students, 52 students we selected and then committed to being a part of Tier 1. Now, I tell you this because for every single one of you being in this seat, we are overjoyed when we get to send out our acceptance letters. And I want you to know that for every one of you, we also had to say no to 2 people. And the reason why you're here, the reason why you're sitting in this seat, oftentimes is not, people think it's because you have a really high GPA. And I can absolutely, with 110% confidence, tell you that you are not sitting here because of your GPA. You are not sitting here because of your listed extracurricular activities or where you go to school. You're sitting here because the people over here on the side of the room looked through your application, they did your interviews, and they saw you. They didn't see your GPA, they saw you. Each and every one of you were advocated for. Each and every one of you were discussed, and we put together the MedEx family for Tier 1. So do not ever question your worthiness of sitting in this seat, because you have been hand-selected to be here. Always remember that. You always have something to give. And as you have something to give, you also have room to grow. So we select the MedEx schedule, all the experiences, all the activities, the simulations, the things that you get to do during MedEx. We hand those things to push you, to get you to grow, to give you those opportunities. And our expectation is that you meet them. You meet the growth. You are willing to be here with an open mind and an open heart and learn. That's why we're here. So your first opportunity for growth is that I'm going to ask you to give your full undivided attention to Ms. Emily Burrell and Ms. Natalie Carey, because they are here to discuss every single clearance requirement that you have to complete in order to start with us. And they're fantastic, and they're experts, much more so than we are. So please give them your full attention. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So, as Sarah said, I'm Emily. My colleague Natalie will be joining me just one moment. It's weird having the screen really far away, sorry. So we work for Student Affairs Administration and specifically the Office of Student Services. And part of our job is to ensure that each student that comes onto this campus has been fully vetted in order to keep both themselves and our patients on this campus safe. And so I know that all of you, as people in our community and as people who have families or yourselves here at the hospital, will find some assurance in that, to know that we fully vet each and every student who's allowed on this campus. So in order to do that, I'm going to explain to you the process by which this happens. And first, I'll talk about my clinical exchange, and then Natalie will go in deeper to the compliance checklist and review all of the requirements. And then we'll talk about HealthStream, parking, and then answer any questions. And during this entire process, please, if you have questions during it, just raise your hand. This is very informal. Feel free to ask any questions you have. So my clinical exchange is the data management program that we use to house all of your compliance information. So anything that is required by Prisma Health, you will submit through this online management system, and each person's account will come to a queue for Natalie and I to individually review. So Natalie and I will look at every single one of your accounts one by one. So if you submit on a Friday afternoon, please don't expect it to be cleared until Monday. I say this just because people oftentimes think that since it's on an automated kind of process, that the system itself will check your clearance, but it's not. An actual person's eyes are on each and every document that you submit. The first rule is do not pay for your My Clinical Exchange. The system covers that cost for every student rotating here. So if you ever are asked to pay, just give us a call or an email, and we'll make sure that you are logged in the correct way in order to bypass that. So this is what My Clinical Exchange looks like. You're going to log in that center section where the student area is. That's really far away, guys, sorry. And make sure that you log in here because there's another link at the top of the screen that says students, but that's not the right one. That one will ask you to pay. So step one, make sure that you're logging in the correct link. And then secondly, you're going to request a password from My Clinical Exchange. So you don't have to put in any information here. Just go ahead to forgot password, and then you'll be prompted to enter the email address that you provided MedEx upon your registration or application. Whatever email you provided on your application is the email that you will create your My Clinical Exchange account with. And then you'll put in the little code that they give you, and then click the link that says email password. Don't click change password, email password, because they're going to send you one. And then check your email, and then you can log in. This is the screen that you'll see when you log in. All of your, which you'll only have one rotation unless you've done any kind of other experience here, which most of you are pretty young, so I don't think that any of you probably have. So you'll have one rotation in that rotation section, which is on the right side. And you'll just click that rotation. It'll say rotation number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, compliance, or checklist not in compliance, something similar to that. So click that checklist, and you'll be taken to all of your compliance requirements. These listed here are not your compliance requirements. This is just a demo page, so don't worry about the things that are listed here. But just so that you can see exactly what the platform looks like, you will be able to add documents with the buttons on the right side, and then anything that is currently in there is in that present value column. It's that second column. The name of the item is the first column, and then if you need to update something, then you can put it in the new value column. So once you upload, say, your documentation for measles, mumps, rubella vaccination, then you're going to put the date of your second vaccination in the new value column before you submit it. So down at the bottom, you'll see there's a save button, a submit for approval, and a close. You'll always want to save, but just keep in mind that your compliance checklist will not come to us for review until you click the submit for approval button. So as long as you are just filling it out, you don't want to submit it yet, save it, that's fine, but we're not going to see it until you submit it. So Natalie is going to come and talk about the actual items that are in your compliance checklist.
Well, I also want to offer my welcome to you. I know that you're excited. It's good to see a lot of parents as well in the room. And so I also wanted to just say welcome. My name is Natalie Harry. I'm a Senior Student Services Coordinator. I've been with Prisma Health Upstate. In February was 30 years. So I started working when I was very young. So I'm still very young. I wanted to go over the last screen that Emily showed you, the compliance checklist. I wanted to go a little bit deeper and just to let you know what it is that we do require. Okay, so some of the personal identifiers that you're going to enter is your date of birth, the last 5 of your Social Security, your school name, and then a photograph. Now your photograph needs to be face forward, no sunglasses, no hats, nothing like that. No glamour shots, no Clemson on the side, tiger paws, that sort of thing. And Emily and I have seen a variety of pictures. So I'm just letting you know that this picture will actually be used for your required Prisma Health Student ID badge. So just if you'll do the full face view And then additionally, it needs to be saved in JPEG format. Oftentimes we have to decline the photo because it's sent to us in PDF or in PNG, something like that. So just make sure you save it in JPEG. Selfies are fine, just with your phone is fine. Just make sure you follow those guidelines when you submit it. So let's give you a photo test. Picture 1, picture 2, you think they'd make it? You're correct. They are denied. Emily doing her glamour shot. Kimball wearing her sunglasses. Do you think those would be approved? No, that is correct. They would be denied. And then here's me, having fun in my workplace. So what are some things that you see wrong with this picture? There's 4 things immediately. Exactly. Well, proper background. Anything else?
Format.
Face obstruction, exactly. Improper facial expression. I don't know what's wrong with that, but it's not correct. And then again, the wrong format, because you see how I've submitted it was NAP's So Cool, a PDF. So just make sure you save that in JPEG. Okay, good. You all got 100 on your first MedEx test. Congratulations. Yay. Oh yeah, that one's denied. So now let's talk about the real fun stuff. And these are your immunizations that we require for every student who is here at Prism Health Upstate. And before we talk about the specific items, I did just want to point out that when you submit documentation, please make sure that it includes your name, that includes the type of immunization or procedure that you're submitting, and also that you have the result of your TB or your title. Okay, so here are a few notes about TB test. This can be a little confusing for people who've never had a tuberculosis test before. If you've had one within the last 12 months, what we require is a 2-step. A TB test means that you get a placement on day 1, you wait 2 to 3 days, and then you go back and have that test read. And that's 2 parts. But a 2-step TB test means that you wait 7 days, and then you go back and repeat that process. So if you have not had a TB test done within the last 12 months, then we would require a 2-step TB test. If you have, does anybody in here volunteer for us? Okay, so some of you that have volunteered, you may be fully up to date on your immunizations, so that's a good thing. So you can check with Employee Health or the volunteer office, and they can assist you with getting those records. So if your volunteer immunizations are up to date, then your TB test will probably be current as well. So if you had a 2-step TB test, then within the last 12 months, all you would need is just a 1-step. You just need your annual one. We also started within the last year or so accepting a blood test for the TB requirement. There's some tests such as quantiferon or T-spot, and you also, if you choose to do that route, we do accept that as well, and that needs to be done within the last 12 months as well. If you have a positive TB test, this is very important because you have chest x-rays, but for Prisma Health Upstate and for the MedEx Academy, you would need to have that chest x-ray done within 90 days of your start date. Okay, so if you had that chest x-ray, I know you normally, if you have a history, then you do an annual questionnaire, but for our requirement, you would have to have documentation for a new chest x-ray done within 90 days. So that's a lot about the TB test. Any questions before we move on to the other immunization requirements? Everybody pretty clear? Okay, good. Okay, the other, or one of the other immunizations that we require is an MMR, the measles, mumps, and rubella, and we require documentation for either 2 immunizations or a positive titer. We'll accept either one. but not just one immunization. So it needs to be either 2 immunizations or a positive titer. The same thing for varicella, for chickenpox. We require documentation for 2 immunizations or a positive titer. And please note that we do not accept history of having chickenpox as a child, having that disease. We do not accept that as meeting the requirement. This is another immunization that causes a little bit of question, because oftentimes the documentation, it'll say history of disease, which again will not meet our requirement, and oftentimes students will have only had 1 of the immunizations. But again, we require 2 or a positive titer. Any questions on those 2? No? Okay. The next thing we require is documentation for hepatitis B. Now, hepatitis B is a 3-shot series or a positive titer. And this particular immunization, however, we will allow you to sign a declination form, and that will be located on your actual compliance checklist under the Documents tab on My Clinical Exchange. So if you've never had the hepatitis B 3-shot series, or if you've only had 1 or 2 of the 3, if your titer is negative, then you can sign the declination here, okay, for hepatitis. The other system that we work with, Emily told you about My Clinical Exchange, but there's a second platform that we use, and this platform is known as HealthStream, and it has your online orientation modules, your student handbook, that sort of thing. So we're going to talk just a second about HealthStream. What will happen is after tonight, somebody's already emailed me and said, Miss Carrie, I tried to get in My Clinical Exchange and I'm not there, I can't log in. And so we have not submitted your names yet until after orientation. The rotation has been created for you for MedEx Tier 1 in My Clinical Exchange, but we've not uploaded the roster that has your names and your information. So tomorrow we will do that, and when we do that with My Clinical Exchange, you'll get an automatic email from them, so make sure to check your junk and spam email because you will get an email directly from My Clinical Exchange that welcomes you for the MedEx Tier 1 experience. So once we get that process done, I will also submit the roster to the people in our HealthStream department, and they will get your information uploaded into HealthStream. And this may take a couple of extra days, but hopefully we will be able to get you your account set up in HealthStream by the end of the week is what we're planning for. And then I will send you an email. It'll come directly from me, and it'll have a handout about HealthStream and what you need to do to log in. But this is just a quick view. When you get that handout, you'll see this image there. You're just going to click there at the top on My Connections, and then you're going to go to the middle, that kind of a second red arrow there under Learning Links, and you'll find your curriculum, if you will. And then you're going to go to the bottom there and enroll in that curriculum. And once you enroll, then there'll be several modules that you'll have to complete in HealthStream. Any questions about that? No questions? Wonderful. Okay. Your clearance deadline is May the 13th. Okay. So we want to get everybody's information in. And then as Emily shared, we individually look at all of your information that you're going to submit. So if you can have everything submitted, and we hope to have you cleared by May 13th, then when the start date for MedEx Tier 1 rolls around, then you'll be cleared and good to go. We just wanted to make sure that you're aware of that. And you should have gotten an email from me about a week or so ago with the handout. And it also has this date in there a couple of times. So if you forget, just refer to that handout. And Emily's going to come back to the podium and talk to you about student parking.
Okay. So here we are. Okay. So you are currently in the building labeled number 18. It's the the left tiny building in like the reddish color. Your student parking lot is lot 13 with the arrow. So it's a short walk from the parking lot to the USC School of Medicine building, or there's a shuttle that runs. Please do not park in any other parking. A lot of times we have complaints that our patients and families don't have parking during the summer. A lot of times the building up here is really packed during the summer. And so just make sure that you're parking in the correct spot if you're driving to MedEx. So we've gone through a lot of information. I know you've gotten a handout previously, but are there any other questions that we can answer while we're here face to face? Questions? Well, Natalie and I are always available. You can email us at student.services@prismahealth.org. Our phone numbers are there. Natalie tends to work a little later than I do. I'm usually out of the office by 5. But if you have any questions, probably email is the best way to reach us. And we'll get back to you pretty quickly. And don't hesitate. I know right now you see all the things and it seems pretty straightforward, but there's always those kind of instances that you see on your immunization record, like, oh, I'm not really sure about this. So feel free to give us a call, email, whatever you need. We're here for you guys, making this as smooth a process as possible so that you guys can enjoy the amazing summer you're going to have with MedEx.
Hello, everyone. We're so excited to have you all here tonight. I'm going to cover one last quick clearance thing before we get into what we're going to talk about tonight. And last, our clearance forms. You might see these on your microbial exchange or somewhere in your MedEx packet. And so I wanted you to know about them and know that we will do these on the first day of MedEx. You don't have to do them on your own. Don't worry about filling them out. You can wait on them. We'll do them on the very first day. So next in order, we'd like you to meet, there we go. We'd like you to meet the MedEx staff. We'll go around and introduce ourselves. Everyone up here and your interns over there and Al over here are your MedEx family. We're here to welcome you and to make sure that your summer is amazing and wonderful. I'll go ahead and start. My name is Hannah Anderson. I'm one of the program advisors. This is my dog Hank, just so to introduce him too. I did MedEx Tier 1 a very long time ago. And then I did MedEx Tier 4 when I was in college and I graduated, and now I work for MedEx full time. So it's really awesome to meet you all, and I know that you all will have a wonderful summer at MedEx.
My name is Sarah Knowles again.
Hi friends, my name is Kira Williams. I've been a part of the MedEx Academy for a very long time. I joined MedEx Academy in Tier 2 back, I don't even know how long ago. I did Tiers 2, 3, and 4 with Hannah and Scott. Graduated my undergrad last May, oh my goodness, and then worked last summer as a Tier 3 intern and working full-time this year as a program advisor. So super excited to spend time with you guys. Come say hi, I like to chat.
Good evening and hello. My name is Jenny Coe. I'm also one of the program advisors from MedEx Academy. I'm super excited to meet you today because I'm actually Tier 1's program advisor. So basically that means that I'll help facilitate your activities and experiences this summer. I'm super excited to get to know each and every one of you. I came to MedEx as a Tier 4 student, as an undergraduate student, and then I came back, loved it so much, came back and served as an intern, and now I've been working as full-time staff for a while. But that's a little introduction about me. I'm super excited to get to know all of you and your families much more later on this summer.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Scott Salters. I am currently serving as the HBCU liaison / program advisor with these lovely ladies over here. And we're really excited to see you guys. You have no clue. We shed tears. There were real debates that happened. We were really, really glad. We've been really working up to this moment to seeing your faces today. And a little bit about me. I started off in your seats at orientation for Tier 1. I spent 2 summers with MedEx and then graduated from USC, go Cox, you know, I have to say it. And found myself right back here with MedEx. So it's really, I'm really happy to see you guys and look forward to the summer. I'll also introduce the wonderful Madison Williams, our logistics advisor. She can't be here today, but if you emailed MedEx, she's probably the one that responded to your email. So she's really that important. So she's really great. She works a lot with behind the scenes as it comes to the running, how MedEx runs every day. I'll let your wonderful parents go ahead. 2 of the 3 of your parents from home introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, my name is Shamel Johar, but I just go by Mel because it's easier. I was fortunate enough to be in Tier 1 through Tier 4, and I'm going to be graduating from Furman University this year. And I'm so excited to be with you guys this summer.
Hey, my name is Sanjana. Yeah, I started in Tier 2 and I did Tiers 2 through 4, and I'm graduating from Clemson this May, and I'm really excited to meet all of you.
Who are you, sir?
Smile Square.
So we're going to go through a quick overview of what Tier 1 is. Does anyone have any idea what Tier 1 is? Do y'all know what you're getting yourselves into? Kind of. I see a lot of blank faces. Okay. Well, I hope you really like what we're about to show you. Thank you. So Tier 1 starts on Monday, July 8th, and will end on Thursday, August 1st. So it's roughly a 4-week program. We are here at the medical school every day, every weekday, from Monday to Fridays, from 8 to 5. There are some days we'll start later. There are some days we will end later or end earlier. But please plan to be here 8 to 5 every weekday for a total of 4 weeks. This is a very, very, it's not really that rigorous, but it's a very comprehensive, very involved, engaged program, and it needs your enthusiasm, and it needs your positive attitude, and it needs your 100%. So that's why we kind of ask you to commit yourselves to that length and time. So again, please plan here to be here every day for that amount of time. And also, great time for all of us to hang out. Things to bring specifically for this tier. So Tier 1 consists of 3 different research projects. We'll be doing 3 separate kind of research kind of entities to kind of get you to explore medicine. And we're not talking about like pipetting or like playing with rats. Our research here is strictly academic and will be kind of focused on laptops. So if you have a laptop or an iPad that you use frequently at home, please feel free to bring back to MedEx. If you do not have a laptop or an iPad that you can use, please don't fret. You don't have to go out and buy a laptop or anything. We will accommodate you when the time comes. But please try to bring some sort of laptop or iPad if you can, or whatever is easiest for you all to take notes and do kind of research, so that we can kind of facilitate your learning and your prepping for presentations and such. So that's why we kind of ask for laptops and tech devices. Cell phones are kind of prohibited during the time of MedEx. So I know some of you guys tend to take notes, or you guys are kind of younger, so you're more just, you guys just need the cell phone more. Besides, when we ask you to, we do like for y'all to kind of put the cell phones away and truly be immersed in the experience. If you need to use your cell phone as a research tool, like let us know prior. And again, we can kind of, talk about that when the time comes. But I just wanted to kind of let you all know that cell phones are kind of going to be put aside during the duration of this year. Moving forward, please bring open minds and open hearts. Tier 1, again, is a career exploration tier. So we'll be diving into lots of clinical experiences and non-clinical experiences. We'll be talking about clinical careers and non-clinical careers. Some of you may already know what you want to do, and it could be clinical based, and some of you may be, straightforward in the path for non-clinical careers. Either way, we ask that you be open-minded and respect one another during the duration of the tier, and respect our presenters as they present their life stories to you. And lastly, positive attitudes. The best thing about tier 1 and each tier in MedEx is that it's a great safe space for vulnerability if you'd like to share, and a great place to share if you feel like sharing, and just a good place to divulge and be yourself and learn who you really are. And that it takes a lot of vulnerability and a lot of kind of just open-mindedness and open-heartedness. So please kind of come in with that mindset that we are all here to learn and to get to know each other and to evolve together and to grow, not only as students, but also as clinicians, non-clinicians, professionals, and forward. So that's kind of the attitude in the air I'd like to carry on throughout the tier. And it'll be up to each and every one of you to help me and help our interns carry that out as well. Some of the things you'll be doing in tier 1, we talked about research. That's a really big project we're doing this year called Cradle to Grave. We'll talk about it more when the time comes. Basically, you'll be creating a life-size model of basically like a generation that I ask of you. And one of the other things we'll do is CBT training. So that'll be time for you all to get hands-on experience and learn how to ultrasound. You'll be taught by ultrasound technicians and students at the Haywood Hospital. So very close, like one-on-one contacts with them, and it'll be a good kind of introductory experience to tech and how that works in the hospital system. And then lastly, IPM skills, which stands for Integrated Practice of Medicine. So we'll be having some of our medical students here come and teach you how to do physical exams, how to listen to your lungs, how to listen to your hearts for abnormalities and everything, how to ask for a history from a patient, how to go about navigating that conversation with the patient and such. So it'll be super exciting for you to kind of pretend to be a clinician for a little bit. So that's basically what tier 1 encompasses. Does anyone have any questions? Does it sound interesting? Are y'all super excited? Okay, does it sound like something you all want to do? Okay, cool, because the schedule's already made, so this is really what we're doing. Okay, I'm good for this.
All right. So Jenny talked about all the super cool things that only you guys are doing. Super jealous. However, there are some activities that all of our tiers do, and these are some of those things. So on top of all the really cool things you get as a tier 1 student, simply being a MedExer affords you these opportunities here. First of which being the dreaded presidential fitness test. Now, I know all of you that heard our overviews heard us talk about this test, and I promise you it is not as terrible as you think it is. Yes, there is a 1.5 mile jog or walk or whatever, but there's the sit and reach, push-ups, all that good stuff. And the reason why we do that is because we want you to experience what life is like as a patient. We recognize that a lot of you all are coming in with an idea of being a healthcare provider, and that's great. But one of the main qualities that a healthcare provider should have is empathy. So we want to make sure that you're understanding what it's like to be on the other side of the table. So we give you this experience, one, because, I mean, it's great, exercise, right? Lifestyle medicine, but also to see what it's like to be a patient. So we'll also do your health risk assessment. And that includes your blood draw, your BMI, height, weight, all that good stuff. And you'll get those numbers, ideally, and you'll be able to see where you fit as far as your health is concerned. And if you join us for following summers, you can compare your numbers over time and see if you get progressively better or, because college progressively worse. So, presidential fitness test, really cool. It's a very dreaded couple of hours, we know, but it is definitely a bonding experience. You see how happy everybody looks? That's after the run. So see, nobody died, it's great. After the presidential fitness test, one thing we love to do at MedEx is we love the idea of family and community, and we do actually like each other. So we have a cookout for every tier. And we do this because one, we like to eat, and also we like to socialize. So typically our cookouts are done in groups. So our tier 2 and 4 undergraduate tiers tend to cook out together. And then you guys will be with our tier 3 students as a cookout, hanging out, eating good food, getting to hang out with some older kids, kind of ask them about their lives, those kind of things. It's really cool. Another thing that we do is our BLS training. That's our basic life skills. So CPR, Can you revive a baby? Those kinds of things. We do that within the first couple of days. One, because we want to make sure you're prepared because, life. But also we feel like that's an essential tool everybody should have coming into the MedEx family. So that's one of the first things you do along with the run. Those happen within the first 3 days. So if you're not prepared, get prepared. Also, last thing, we recognize that BLS is for times of physical crisis, but one thing that we're learning now is that there are a lot of mental crises happening as well. A lot of people that feel that they are at the end as far as their wits and they're really overwhelmed, and this QPR training allows us to teach you what to do if somebody around you is in the case of a mental crisis. And what we mean by that is someone who may be on the verge of committing suicide or is thinking of committing suicide. We give you some tools to be able to refer those people to the necessary resources. You yourself are not the resource. We're not expecting you to rescue people from the brink, but we are expecting you to be able to recognize signs in a similar way that we teach you to recognize stroke or heart attack, to recognize whether a friend or someone close to you may be suicidal or contemplating suicide. So this is a very heavy session, but it's super important because especially young people, you guys go through so much. And we want to make sure that you're able to observe what's going on with your friends and be able to refer them to the necessary resources. And it's also a really cool certification to have once you go off to college and get to have new experiences, things of that nature. So these are activities that you'll get alongside the really cool ones that Jenny mentioned. Any questions?
All right, I also wanted to clarify when I introduced you new parents. Parents, we don't believe in giving your children away. That's not what I meant. But Sanjana and Mel are 2 of the 3 tier-specific interns who will be with you every single day, every hour, making sure that you're getting the best experience during the summer. So you guys will really get to know who these 3 are. They're all awesome too, by the way. So just thus far, we spoke about what's happening during this year. But we also have some optional activities that we do outside of the tier. And so one of those is the community mental health outreach. So this summer, we, again, Kira just talked about mental health and how important that is to us. And also we like to give back to our community. And so what we did is we wrote really nice, kind comments on these beautiful roses or flowers and just went and gave them to strangers. And so that was just a really fun activity that we did, but it was also a great feeling after giving those out to random strangers. We also have Greenville Drive game nights where we get to really all sit together, have this wonderful view of the baseball game. Even though if you don't really watch baseball like I do, it's really a great experience just to bond. And we get some really cool seats, and sometimes we even get a shout out. So, that's really great. And then Kira also mentioned that we like to eat and we like to socialize. So what better than the hump day hangouts on Wednesday nights to eat and socialize? So what we do here is we do a lot of times we do a potluck. And so for tier 1, we typically have this here in the medical school where you just bring something from home. We all eat and talk about things sometimes not pertaining to MedEx, but talk about life. So it's a really good experience to just bond outside of MedEx and get outside of the classroom environment. And so we even have themed luau Hawaiian things as well. So those are really fun too.
All right, so this is the only part you really care about, we know. So we're just gonna tell you what's in it for you, right? So aside from all the really cool experiences, we also want to give you tangible things just to prove how great MedEx is. So the first thing is this. Remember I told you about that dreaded presidential fitness test that everybody hates? I know it sucks, right? However, as a result of doing that really great fitness test, you get access to our Life Center. And our Life Center is around here somewhere, about 5 minutes over somewhere. And it's a really great gym that has really great things that you can take advantage of the entire time you're with us. That's actually where the presidential fitness test will take place. So in that Life Center, there's the indoor track that you can use if you want to run. There's the regular gym equipment. There's a yoga studio. There's a cycling studio. There's a pool. There's a sauna. There are really great classes that happen. You can take advantage of any of those things in that building. As long as it doesn't interfere with your time with us at MedEx. So a lot of our students go there early in the morning before MedEx. That's a choice. There are some people that go in the evenings. I think that's a better choice. There are different things that you can do in that life center, definitely take advantage of it. Last year was just based on simply having your badge. Some years it's based on a key fob. It just depends on what life center is requiring that year. So that will be offered to you. Also, raise your hand if you like to eat, right? It's great, right? Raise your hand if you like free food. Even better, right? Great. So what we recognize here at MedEx is, one, food is expensive, and also as high schoolers, you probably don't have a whole lot of money. So what we really want to do is make sure you're not starving and also not going broke doing so. So we give you money loaded on your beautiful badges that you will have and is required every day, BT Dubs. This badge is your key to everything. And we load this badge every day with an allotment of money that you can use in any of the GHS badge accessible locations, which means our cafe here at the medical school or any of the restaurants down at Memorial's cafeteria. So that's the regular cafeteria, Subway, Chick-fil-A, ABP. You can use your badge for those things. The only place that it does not work is Starbucks. I'm sorry. However, if you want coffee, you can get coffee from ABP and it's just as good. So, just a little tidbit. There are a lot of alums that have figured out how to work that system. So find an older kid that's a returner and they'll tell you exactly what to get so you're not having to spend extra money. Great. Also, you'll get access to the really cool library here at the medical school. So like Jenny mentioned, you guys are doing a lot of research projects, which is really cool. But one thing that you guys will get that a lot of high schoolers don't get is access to a medical school library. So you'll get all of the material that our med students get completely free to you, and you'll be able to use it to give really great presentations to really great people. You'll also get the really cool study rooms that are everywhere. That'll be a great place for you to go when you're in your individualized groups, because you'll be in a lot of those. It'll be separate, private places for your group to kind of work without distractions from the outside. Pretty great place. When you're working on test studying, working on getting application for college, really great. Another thing that you get is access to resources, meaning us as staff. 24/7 genuinely does mean 24/7. We are here because we love you guys. We would not be here if we did not want you guys to be successful and not want you guys to be the best that you can be, which means if you are struggling, reach out to us. And if not, us, your beautiful interns who are genuinely here solely for y'all. So reach out to your interns, reach out to us. If you're going through anything and just need to talk, we are here. So aside from all the really great stuff that's tangible, you get us, which honestly, I feel like is all you need, right?
So, location of events. You're in the med school right now, and this is where 99% of the time you will be and where MedEx activities will take place. There's, I think, picture it. Yeah. So this is the med school building. As you'll see, there's 3 floors. You're on the first floor right now. Second floor is a simulation center and study room, so you'll spend some time there. And the third floor is a bunch of study rooms, a lot of classrooms, and you'll be up there as well doing research and listening to lectures and those types of things. So we're really excited to have access to this beautiful building. It's pretty cool to be, as a high schooler, to be in a medical school. You'll see all like the lovely drawings behind me of crazy medical school things going on. And it's really neat to be in this environment as a young person and kind of get a glimpse of what your future might be like if you want to go to medical school or you want to go to professional school. And so we're so happy that you have access to this building. We just ask that you keep it cleaned up and whatever, oh my gosh, messes that you make, you take care of this building so that we can have access to it in future years. I know from my experience when I was in Tier 1, we also had access to this building. We had access to medical students as well. So you'll be seeing them around the building. You can stop and chat to them. There are M2s who work specifically with MedEx, so those are second-year medical students. And they will be visiting your Tier 1, at least for a panel. So you really do get a chance to be immersed in the medical school here, which is a really neat opportunity. The other place where you will have events will be here at the Memorial Hospital campus. So as Kira mentioned, all of your food and cafeteria, all those things will be down there. So pretty much every lunchtime, you'll be down at the hospital. And also CBT training takes place, not here, but at Papewood, which is another branch of Prisma Health upstate. So you'll be in a lot of different places, primarily here at the medical school most of the time. And as Emily mentioned, parking is a little bit limited, so make sure that you're not parking in any patient spots because this is a functioning academic hospital. And so we need all the parking and resources that we possibly can get. We're gonna get the presentation pulled back up again. Thanks for your patience.
What is the dress code for the students during those 4 weeks?
Yeah, we will get to that actually in a couple of slides. I think we'll go through exact specifics, but overall we say the dress code is business casual. So basically kind of what we're all in tonight. All of you look fantastic, by the way. So what you're wearing tonight is a great example. We'll talk more specifically about it, but just in general, business casual. If you want to be dressier, you can do business professional, but just for every day, it's business casual. Any other questions while we're waiting? Yeah.
Okay, so she mentioned the health screen earlier. Does all that stuff need to be done prior to starting?
Yes, it has to be done by May 13th. That was the deadline she gave. The reason why we asked that so early, I know that's way before your tier 1 starts. The reason why we do that is so that you have your badges and you are cleared to go from the very first day of the tier. You cannot get into this building, you cannot get your lunch, you cannot really get anything without your badge. And so it's absolutely essential that you have that on the first day. So just make sure that you have everything done by May 13th. And if for any reason something comes up and you can't make that deadline, please reach out to student services and to us to make sure that we can make that happen for you. But May 13th is the deadline to have everything done. Okay, so returning to the slides, there are some key logistics that I'm gonna go over. We're gonna go over to kind of help you prepare for your first day of MedEx. It's really exciting to get prepared, and we're super excited to have that first day for you guys, and there's a couple of things that you need to get done before that happens. The first thing is an introductory slide. And introduction slide. This is a little different because you all are still in high school, you're not in college. You don't have to put your major, graduation, like university or anything, but we do ask that you put your name, your school, your graduation year, and any fields that you're interested in. So as I think Jenny mentioned, you may have a very specific idea of what you want to do, or you may be very open-minded, and neither of those are wrong starting places to start from. You can put down really whatever you're interested in, any field, it's totally fine. And then if you could put a favorite quote of yours as well as a headshot. It doesn't have to be professional, but it does need to be professional attire and with a clear view of your face, with only your face, no friends, family members, or anything else in the picture. Those PowerPoint slides need to be sent to us, our email address, by Sunday, May 5th at midnight. So again, that's a pretty close deadline, but we have to have those kind of ready for us to know your faces and have our roster ready for the first day of Tier 1. So the next thing is a Google Drive. We operate a lot out of Google Apps. So we use Google Calendar, Google Drive. Google is really our foundation, our backbone, honestly. If you don't have a Gmail or a Google account already, please go ahead and set one up for the first day of the tier. You will definitely need that for Google Calendar. You'll need that to access our Drive, which is for the Tier 1. You'll get access to a lot of resources, and all those resources will be on that Drive. So just make sure that you have one set up by the very first day of the tier. Oh yeah, so this is parking again. You will be asked to park in the student lot. Because med school starts while you're in Tier 1, that parking lot that Emily referred to, parking lot 13, is where you'll need to park. If you have questions about where that's located or anything for the first day of the tier, you can always email us or call us and we'll help you figure out where to park.
Before we go into dress code, I just wanted to let you all know that you have actually already received this PowerPoint in the email that you used to apply for MedEx. So every slide you've seen tonight has already been sent to you, as well as a link to this session that is being recorded right now. So it will be recorded by the time we end tonight. You have all of that. It's in your email. Check it when you get home. Also, dress code, favorite topic. Like Hannah said, business casual is the attire. So yeah, all of you look great. But for specifics, basically khakis, slacks, appropriately length skirts and or dresses. And I'm assuming since most of you live with your parents, they won't let you out the house looking ratchet anyway, so it's fine. But basically, it means appropriately length, which means not long or not shorter than your fingertips for dresses and skirts. For gentlemen, khakis, no jeans, no t-shirts. Gentlemen, if you're going to wear collared shirts, we would actually need you to wear collared shirts. Make sure they're tucked in. No tennis shoes unless it's required. So for example, we won't be doing the presidential fitness test in stilettos, so make sure you're wearing tennis shoes for that. If you're at the gym, if you're in any sort of clinical setting that requires tennis shoes, that's fine. But as long as we're here in the MedEx regular day, business casual. No very strong smelling colognes or perfumes. That's a GHS thing, and also it's just respectful to your neighbors. No excessive gaudy jewelry, which means not super distracting. That doesn't mean you can't wear any jewelry, just make sure it's not distracting to your neighbors. No low cut tops, no high cut tops, you guys know. And ties and blazers and jackets are great if you want to dress up on a particular day, but definitely not required, not mandatory.
So I'm going to talk to you briefly about Wix. Does anyone know what a Wix is? Yeah. Okay, so we use Wix here on top of our Google products mainly for your reflection purposes. So each day we are going to ask you to write a reflection about what you've done during the day. Now you might think, oh, why am I doing this? It's kind of for two different purposes. One, so that you can read back on your Wix, especially when you're doing your college applications or your professional school applications, so you can be reminded of what you actually did and learned during MedEx. You'd be surprised some of those little details you tend to forget. That way this maintains that those things are always there on the internet and it's always accessible. Two, we will read through your Wix. We do that and we check your Wix every week to ensure that you're reflecting and going through the learning objectives that we're setting for you. But also when you may ask us for a letter of recommendation, we read back through your Wix because that helps us really envision you and how you went through this experience and what you learned even better to add more detail to that. This Wix is also used in a lot of cases. People put their resumes on it, update it, and use it as you go through your undergrad experiences and even into professional schools so that it kind of becomes just the place where you maintain professional documents where you can share with someone. You can put this on your LinkedIn and people can immediately access all these things that you've done in healthcare, in medicine, and read through them. So we would ask that you get familiar with Wix and kind of start creating a Wix before you arrive on day one. Because what we're gonna ask you to do when the first day that you're here is pull up your Wix account so we can get your URL to copy and paste that. And we're gonna help you start setting up your blogs. So we would like for you to go before tier one, day one, is go to wix.com, just kind of create an account if you don't have one, set things up. You don't have to have it perfectly aesthetically pleasing. If you wanna go ahead and start working on format, by all means, that is awesome and great. But just familiarize yourself with it so when we ask you to start setting up those blog posts that you will be prepared and ready to do so.
Do you already have a Wix account? Can we just add to that one?
The question was, if you already have a Wix account, do you have to create a new one or can you add to that old one? I would say you could add to the old one if you want to maintain all of your things like on one URL. Just make sure that MedEx is kind of in a separate area so when we're looking for it, we can find it.
And make sure that when you are setting up your Wixes that it is in a semi-organized format. If you do have a Wix account or something, just make sure that we can find all your blog posts easily and that they're organized by date so that if you have a question about a specific day or we have a question about a specific day, it's really easy to find. So what do you bring to MedEx each day? I kind of already mentioned that you should absolutely bring your badge. You cannot get into the school, you cannot do a lot of things without your badge, and it would be terrible if you had to miss out a day of MedEx because you left your badge at home. I keep my badge on like a little key rack on my door, and every day before I go out, it's kind of the last thing I grab when I'm heading out the door. And you might want to adopt a similar system or anything that helps you remember your badge and bring it with you every single day at MedEx. Just remember that you will miss out if you don't have it, so just keep it on your person at all times during the day. There's also a fee if you lose it and need to replace it, so try to not lose it. Also, you need to bring a laptop or an iPad. This is definitely optional. You can bring anything that helps you take notes for pretty much every day of MedEx, but we also do a lot of research activities, and so you'll need some kind of access to the internet. We do have a lot of computers and technology in this building, so it's not the end of the world if you don't have a laptop. Don't go out and buy one just for MedEx. But if you already have one, please remember to bring it pretty much every day. Also paper and pen and pencil. That is not optional. You desperately need those things for every day of MedEx. We'll use that for a lot of activities, for a lot of lectures, a lot of things. So just make sure that you have that and you already take notes on that as well. Also bring a water bottle and a snack. You don't want your blood sugar crashing or anything during MedEx. Sometimes it can get long and intense, and especially after the fitness test, if you need a snack. So bring a snack, bring a water bottle. There are a lot of water fountains in this building that you can refill your bottle with if you need to. Just make sure that you're kind of taken care of during the day. The last thing is what Jenny mentioned, bring an open mind and open heart and positive attitudes. A lot of students come to Tier 1 and they're super excited about a specific career. They really want to go to medical school. They really want to be a specific type of surgeon, and that is awesome. But we ask that you keep an open mind for all of the tier. You will hear from so many wonderful professionals who have dedicated their lives to healthcare and to many different careers of healthcare. And you might just find the career that you love, whether that's clinical, or that's non-clinical, or that's something that you didn't even know existed. There are over 1,200 different types of job titles in the healthcare system, and I can guarantee that you can't name all of those titles. So in MedEx, you will learn about those different jobs, you will be exposed to so many different careers, and we want you to keep an open mind, an open heart, and maintain that positive attitude to kind of look forward to engaging with these speakers, and engaging with MedEx, and really learning about your future and your interests.
Sorry, just a quick note on the badges. So upon completion of your health stream and submitting the stuff for your My Clinical Exchange, you may receive an email that says your badge is ready to be picked up at the badge office. Please go and get it. Please do not go and pick up your badge. We will do that for you on the first day of MedEx. So you will come here on the first day without a badge. The doors up here will be open. And we'll make sure to have the elevators downstairs open if you want to come in through that way, so that you'll have access into the building. But please, please, please do not pick up your badge. There's no identity crisis thing that happens if you do pick up your badge, but it is kind of confusing to transfer the accounts from one badge to another if a duplicate is made for you when we pick it up and we don't see yours. So please don't pick it up. We'll have it taken care of. So just wanted all of you to not fret about that. Okay, so final checklist before we end tonight. So again, My Clinical Exchange, please make sure to upload the appropriate documents or immunizations and any other testing that's included in your My Clinical Exchange once you open it. I think all of those things were due on May 13th. I know kind of a long time before the start of your tier, but again, it is essential for starting here on time. So please have it submitted and ready. That includes your background check and your health stream courses as well. And just to note, the health stream courses do take a little bit of time. There's a few separate modules, and they do take a little time to click through. They have little quizzes at the end, so make sure you're dedicating enough time as you need to health stream. Your introduction slides to be emailed to medexinterns@gmail.com by May 5th. Again, headshot, name, high school, intended, fields of interest, and then a quote if you're choosing. And then lastly, your Wix account needs to be created by Tier 1. And I cannot stress enough, please have your Wix account obviously I want them beautiful, that have them readable and kind of manageable. It is slightly difficult to go through and try to find out where everybody puts their blog entries. So just make sure that it's easy to navigate. But I think that's the final checklist.
So we have already scheduled a social. So this is something that if you go to school in Greenville County, you might have heard of prior to this night, but there's going to be a health careers night at the Greenville Drive. And we are going to have a MedEx social, and if you want to sign up to come with MedEx, I'm going to ask that you come over and see me on this side of the room before you leave, and I'm just going to get you down, make sure that we have your name so that we know that you're coming. We're going to get all of our tickets together so that we can sit together and watch the game. If you actually watch baseball, that'd be great. Otherwise, you might just talk to Scott. But it'll be a really great time. So please let me know if you would like to come. I think this would be a really fantastic opportunity for all of us to get to know each other before MedEx Tier 1 starts.
So do we have any questions as we kind of wrap up? Anything about what you've heard? No? Okay. If you do have questions that you're like, oh man, I forgot to ask them that night, you can always email us. This is our email address. If you've had correspondence with us in the past, you might also have access to our phone numbers. You can also call us, and we'll do our best to get back to you and answer your questions. There are a couple of logistic things. Number one, if you do want a ticket, see Sarah afterwards. Secondly, come over here at the end. We're not done yet, but at the end, come over here and get sized for a lab coat. We'll need your size, and we'll also need you to kind of sign in and say that you were here so that we had attendance for tonight. So those are two things. Check in with Sarah if you want a ticket, and then check in for sizes for lab coats with Jenny when we're done. However, before we finish, we have a very important way to close the night, and that is to introduce you to Uncle Al Squire, who's the director of our program. He needs no introduction, but we are so happy for you to get to meet the man, the myth, the legend tonight, and for him to tell you about his passion and the history of MedEx.
If you will, another round of applause for those folks. I didn't pick any. Well, that I said in all your interviews, I want you to recognize that as growth has taken place in the MedEx Academy, I've had to recognize that my role has changed. The MedEx Academy began in 2010. There were 12 students who started in that first class. And I rented a van that looked like a prison van. And we rolled around trying to see something. So we've come a long way. There was no med school when MedEx began. There was no nursing school when MedEx began. Those things arrived, and MedEx was a case study for why those programs were adopted. You should know that when they say that they cried and they argue and they champion and they campaign, they actually did that. In fact, I remember on occasion I was asked to leave the room while they talked about you. But why I was there was really not for you, but for those who were not here, because it's a hard decision to make, to say no to somebody when you want to say yes to everybody. So you have a duty, you have a responsibility. I'll get to that in a moment. What I want you to understand is that this is more than just a program. It is a relationship. And I give you an example of that by explaining a little bit about me. I met my son when he was 12 years old. And what I mean by that is I was dating his mom, and I can tell the status of our relationship by the way he introduced us. He would say, this is my mom, and this is her friend, So I knew what our status was, but I also understand that we were going to have to build this relationship with each other. Then as time passed, he would say, this is my mom, and this is our friend, Al. And then he would say, this is my mom, and this is my stepdad, Al. And then he would say, if you were to ask and talk to him today, he would say, this is my mom, and this is my dad. Now I told him, you were always my son from the first day, but I knew you needed time to figure out who I was to you. So I want you to understand that this is more than just a program. When those 12 students began in 2010, I spent every moment with them because I could, and I wanted to. And I learned right away that this was more than just a career opportunity. I learned that those students were all on a journey like you are. They've all had to travel a certain distance like you will. And sometimes things outside of the classroom challenge their journey. Sometimes things outside the classroom cause them hardship and despair. What we recognize as MedEx is that this is a program trying to earn a right to have a relationship with you. And for 4 weeks when you're here, every day we will be here trying to prove to you we want a relationship with you. Programs have start dates and end dates, but relationships don't have to. And you'll find that beyond the summer, there's engagement, there's opportunities. There's times when we'll look for you and seek you out, as I have over the years. And the most powerful aspect of that is that I'm not by myself anymore. I have these great folks here. And I can entrust them to take care of you as I would, because we're all of the same cloth. We recognize that you can't beg someone to be compassionate. You can't teach someone who doesn't care to care. And you can't teach people who are not serving in their leadership to be servant. And all those things are part of who we are. And that's why we're so effective at what we do here. You know, MedExers come here looking for something. I talk about the fact that some of you are looking for yourselves. You're actually walking out in the woods. And if you're in that woods, you may fall into a hole. And if you're in the hole, you may find that you can't get out of that hole on your own. So some of you might even scream, "Help!" And somebody might come along and it might throw a rope down to you, but you may find that the rope itself is not long enough to get you out of the hole. So you are in no better shape than you were just moments ago. Then some of you might realize that the person who threw the rope went on about their business. And you find that you're struggling to get out. So you may yell again, "Help!" And somebody may come, they may drop a ladder down in that hole, but even with the ladder, the tool, you don't have enough to be able to get out of the hole because the ladder was short. What you really need is someone from MedEx to come find you. If someone from MedEx who finds you in the hole would do this. They would climb down in the hole with you. You'll look at them and go, "What is wrong with you? I couldn't get out the hole. What are you doing?" And they'll say to you, "I know this hole. I've been in it before, and I know the way out." The goal that we want you to understand is that you are on a journey, but there are people here who are your GPS. We will guide you in that journey. And the goal that we have for you here is to understand that we recognize that some of you already think you know what you want to do. And if we were GPS, you would be on the highway, driving as fast as you can to get you where you wanted to go. And all we would say to you is, "Hey, pull over, there's a rest stop. Let's get off and make sure that we're following the map the way we're supposed to, that we recognize what milestones we should be passing, and we send you on your way." Well, not all of us are in that position. Some of us are like, we think we know what we want to do, but we might want to see some other stuff. So maybe you're taking the scenic route. And you might go town to town, seeing the waterfalls, seeing the bridges, trying some things out, and great, we're your GPS for that too. But let's be honest, some of us are in this room right now and we're pretending that we have a clue that we don't. We don't know what we want to do, but we're excited about something. And I'll say you're off-road riding. But the goal is to figure out a path, we'll cut one. That's what GPS is, and that's what MedEx Academy is. We want you to have all the experiences, and you have a responsibility. There are 3 things I'm going to ask you to do as Tier 1. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is be curious. Because even if you think you know your career, our goal is let's validate it. Let's validate it. Let's validate it. You may know some aspects of it, but we want to explore more of that aspect of what you might need to know. So I'm going to say be curious, because what we really want you to do is have exploration and experimentation to determine the education that's going to allow you to get that job that you really want down the road. We want you to be curious. Now, a few years ago, I did an inventory of all the jobs in the MedEx system of this particular healthcare system, just for the upstate. There was 1,782 different careers employed in this hospital system. 1,782 different jobs. How many of those can you name? I can't name them all unless I look at it. But what I'm telling you is there may be jobs perfect for you that you have no idea that exist. Why? Because you're asking yourself the wrong question. And you've been asked the wrong question. The question you're asked is, what do you want to be? How many of you have been asked that question? All of us have. But the problem is when we make the decision on what we want to be, it's based on the jobs that we know, not the ones that are available. And our goal in Tier 1 is curiosity, exploration. You may find that maybe there's a different question you should be answering. And the question you should be answering is this: what is it that I love to do? What am I excited about? What does it feel like to learn something that feels fun to learn? What is it that I like, that I'm passionate about? And you might be able to find that if you love music, for example, there are a whole lot of careers for people who have an interest in music. We have everything from music therapy to surgery. A third of our physicians self-identify as musicians. You'll be amazed at what you could find if we focus on what you enjoy. You like math? You like studying anatomy? You like problem solving? There are a whole slew of careers in various fields. Your goal for being curious is to say, let me be willing to try. Trial and error. Let me be willing to learn. Let me be willing to be exposed so I can really get an idea of what I like and what I don't like, and begin to form clusters of different occupations for me to experience going forward. I want you to be curious. I also want you to be courageous, because I'm going to ask you to do some things that no one's asked you to do. I want to show you some things that no one's shown you before. I want you to do things that are not necessarily easy, but I want to stretch you. I want you to understand that part of growth comes through challenge. Part of growth comes through struggle. And part of growth comes through stepping into that unknown until it becomes known. I want you to have courage. Lastly, I want you to make connections. Because every person who was in this room tonight to be part of Tier 1 was thought to have a gift. That's one of the reasons we chose you. Is we said, MedEx would be better if you were here. Why? Because you would add value to the others who are here. So here's what you need to understand. Every person in this room has a gift, and your job is to share your gift. The other part of your job is to get what's yours, because everyone in this room has a gift to give back to you. And you need to get your gifts. Connections. I want you to make connections, not just with the people in the room, but for those who will come before you. There are a lot of opportunities that this door that you're walking through will present, not just in the moment of this summer, but in the future to come, if you take advantage of it. In fact, some of you don't realize it, but you'll be interviewing for future opportunities while you're in the MedEx Academy. You will be interviewing for future opportunities. There will be research opportunities. There will be volunteer opportunities. There'll be job opportunities that you don't have any idea exists right now that you actually are being looked at for. In fact, proof of that is every person over here. Every single person over there, while they were in the MedEx, demonstrated something of value that we said, you know what? Not just being a member, but being a leader is really what your calling should be. We want you to be part of that calling. It's not just a program, it's a relationship. We want you to understand that unconditionally, just you being here makes you a member of the family. Now, there's some things you also need to be aware of. MedEx was started because we recognized that we needed to support one another. Tyson A. Green was one of the 12 members that started in the MedEx Academy. And we were all in the van going over to the Life Center because we did everything together. We ate together, we worked out together, we were together all the time. That's when I realized that family had a meaning when it came to MedEx. And what it stands for, support from MedEx family, it really means for us that for all members to live in your dreams. That's what it means. We want everyone to understand that we don't come here with a stamp of what your dreams should be. Our goal is for you and I to discover it is and make sure that we're following the pursuit of that. And the way that came about is what I call the 6 promises. Because we think all of us are in this together, not just you here and your parents not being a part. We're all in this together. It's a family extended to everybody. So we recognize, not in the beginning, but as we grew MedEx Academy, that there were 6 promises that we needed to make. And every morning when I wake up, my goal is how can I work to fulfill these 6 promises? Now, I'm a parent. I'm a step-parent. I'm an uncle. I'm all those things. I have kids that I never knew I had, but they're all part of me now. And what you need to understand is that as a parent to another parent, we are partners. Sorry. So let me explain what that means to you as a partner. MedEx promises to our parent as a partner. Our promise to you as a partner is to help your child become financially independent and get out your house. Yeah! Wow! It was never the plan for you to go away. I'm not gonna live it up. Now, don't get that wrong. Now, we love you. We just want to love you from a little distance. You need to get on out there. So that's our parent partnership. That's our promise. We also partner with educators. We're your partner. Now, our partnership says we want to increase the retention, graduation, and success rates of our schools. That's what we want to do. Our partnership is to our own employees. We want to make sure that the next generation is ready and confident and able to work. Our partnership is to our communities. We want to make sure that we provide to our community shared value to increase the esteem and support of those who are not able to take care of themselves. But one of our biggest promises is really to the people in this room. We want you to find a career that you love and a job that you never do. But if you do that right, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's our goal. Tier 1. I have some news for you. This is the beginning of a multi-tier journey if you choose to. But you have to be willing to earn the right to come back every tier. And you're interviewing for every tier by your participation in this tier. So you need to maximize, optimize all aspects of the program. We fully expect you to. And we desire you to, and we want you to. You don't pay for the program in money, but you pay for it in time and effort. And our goal is that you need to be the best because this is the best program we've ever had. And every year we get better because we learn to be better all the time. You're going to have some people with you every day, and every day they're going to be looking for what they can do to make your experience better for you. And we'll have staff meetings to talk about you. In fact, each of those photos that you're sitting in, we actually put them up on the screen in our staff meeting, and we talk about how do we make this better for you. That's why it's a living, breathing program, because it's responsive. And it recognizes that even though we're all in the journey, the starting line for each of us may be different. The distance traveled might have to be longer for some, but the goal is we all end up where we're supposed to be. It's an equitable as well as equal opportunity. And we want to recognize that for all our folks. So we recognize that this is more than just a program. It is a relationship. People go, well, what do we call it? Some people call me Mr. Al, Mr. Squire, Uncle Al, Mr. A. Person calls me Papa. Somebody calls me Granddee. I mean, it's all kinds of things. Here's what I'll tell you. Call me whatever name allows us to be close. Because I'm not hung up on the name, I'm hung up on the relationship. Does that make sense to you? Now, just like them, 24/7, here's the number you need to have. Are you ready? 864-444-7750. That rings my name. That's the fact. 864. I see you over there. 864-444-7750. 864-444-7750. In closing, I want to say thank you for showing interest for this program. You know, a lot of people look at us, not everybody applies. You got to do that first thing. You did. You took that first step. And the application, the interview process is all part of that first step. I'll tell you, the interview that got you into MedEx won't be good enough to get you to the next step. That's one of the things we'll work on over here. But we're your next step. Let me tell you something. You may have friends who are not here, and they may be thinking they're missing out, but we instilled to all those individuals that if you're not in MedEx and you still want support, we'll work with you. You should let them know that we're here too for that. Thank you for your time tonight. I'm gonna turn it back over to the staff. They're way better than I am. Take care.
All right, so that is the end of our program for tonight. As I mentioned before, there are two things you need to do before you leave. If you want a Greenville Dive ticket, come talk to Sarah. If you want, not if you want, because you need to, come over and talk to Jenny. Get signed in for your attendance and get sized for a lab coat. And we will also be up here if you have any questions. Come and talk to any one of us. Thank you guys.